Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to UCSI podcast series. My name is Professor Dr. Zahari Isha. I will be the host for today's event, and I'm very happy to discuss on today topic. The today topic will be human meet machine, exploring AI in education and psychology setting. So as today world, AI and IoT will be play an important role, significant in our life. Everybody talk about AI. So does we really need AI for our life? Will AI replace the human being? Will counselor taken by the AI? Or will be that negative effects on the deep fake and so many things that we need to discuss for today. And I'm very happy for today's event because we have two experts, and the two experts that we bring for today podcast is the first one will be Associate Professor Dr. Zaida Zainuddin. Welcome to UCSI podcast.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
How are you?
Fine, great.
So Dr. Zaida is from UPM.
Yeah.
And she is registered counselor from Pekama and also a lecturer, academician, prominent researcher on AI, e-counseling, and I think we take the right person to discuss the topic for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and again, we really hope to have some real discussion on the e-counseling especially.
Okay, thank you for inviting as well.
Oh, most welcome. And the second speaker, I think everybody know her, a very well-known person, Dr. N. Noor Jamaluddin. Yeah, Dr. N. Noor Jamaluddin is my boss, HOD for Department in Psychology, FOSLA, also a clinical psychologist and also registered counselor. So welcome to the podcast today, Dr. N.
Thanks, Prof. Zahari. Really happy to be here today, and really happy to have, Prof from UPM as well. So, looking forward to this discussion, definitely.
Thank you so much, Dr. N. So, how are you, by the way?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Busy,
Nobody asked me whether how am I now? I just thank you so much. I'm good, I'm great. Thank you so much, Dr. N. Okay, so before we start, to unpack the whole scenario of human meet machine, exploring AI in psychology and education, I would like to start with Dr. Zaida. Okay, Dr. Zaida, I read your profile. You are very engaged with the e-counseling, the AI parts in the counselor. Could you please tell us a little bit the history of your counseling session between the traditional, not to say traditional, physical counseling session into now we call it as a e-counseling or the online counseling session. Could you please respond a little bit on that first?
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, I started my research way back in 1999 during my master degree. 1999. Okay. Back then, if you can recall, 1999, we are so new with internet. Yeah, you are very new with internet back then. Okay, so with my supervisor, we explore on this area. So after I go through and then I come up with the chronology of how actually we blended the technology in counseling. It started way back in 1963 actually. I'm not born yet. Even my parents are not married yet back then, 1963. 1963. Okay, so where actually in US they started having this computer, okay, and they started applying in counseling services. And in 1963 and in 1966 they started using it in career counseling. 1966. Still, I'm not born yet. Still, my mother and father.
I think Dr. N still.
Still, everything. And Dr. N
Not
still.
Still.
We're in the universe.
Okay.
And in 1966, Institute of Technology, Massachusetts, in US, they create an so-called what we call now apps. Okay, they create what is called ELIZA. ELIZA is actually developed by them using Carl Rogers technique, the reflective technique, where the skills, right? The questioning skills
Yep.
for the counselors, okay, in order to explore the client. So they are using this technique, okay, applying in ELISA. So definitely back then they have that computer, they have that diskette. Okay. They have to
very
install
big
the okay.
diskette.
They have to install the diskette. Okay, and then 1966. Okay, if you can recall that very big computer back then. Okay, install the diskette and then would have the conversation with Eliza. Okay, and then with the great result of Eliza, okay, people are happy with Eliza back then, but and they feel that they are talking to human being, but actually it is a reflective technique. Okay, how are you? How are you? Hi Zaida, how are you today? I don't feel good. Okay, not good. Okay, it seems like you don't feel good. Why? Okay. Oh, I'm having a bad hair day. Okay, can you explain on that? Yeah, okay. It is actually it's me talking to myself. Okay. And back then in 1966, that is considered magic. Okay, computer talking. Okay,
1966.
1966. Okay, and the advanced development in 1970, they have this one apps, so-called apps, another apps called Plato.
Okay.
Okay.
Plato.
Plato is actually also combined for education. Okay, and it is also designed for counseling. So Plato is where when the client have difficulty whether we want to choose A or B. Okay, in a question of choosing. Okay, so Plato is the great help back then in 1970. Okay, 1970 ada lahir lah.
Just
Disclaimer.
it started there. It started in 1970.
1970.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
And how would that involve the
Yeah.
e-counseling? I think the development is so fast.
Yeah,
so
in
rapidly developed. So can you just
in
explain?
1980 if you can recall, we have like intranet.
Yeah,
Okay,
intranet.
among our institute, among the
Yes,
office,
yes, the
where
intranet.
our computer are connected in the office. You can recall that
agree.
1980s. Okay, we have that. Okay, we have University of Cornell creating an app, so-called Dear Dr. Ezra.
Oh,
Dear Dr. Ezra.
Okay.
So all the university students, Cornell University, they can have counseling conversation with that counselor, okay, in the campus site using intranet.
So during that time, when you talk intranet, it's still the human within the human or human within the machine.
Human with the machine.
Okay, with that is the time we started human
Yes.
meet the machine on the
Yes,
counseling perspective.
way back
okay.
1963.
1963 was
Still
1970.
with machine at that
Okay,
moment.
all right, thank you.
Okay, and again, thank you to the internet.
All right.
Okay, with the internet, then we start engaging, okay, conversation no longer with a machine. We start engaging, counselor and also the client, the human interaction. Okay, we have that blast, and then we have that online counseling. We have that telephone counseling. We have that. If you can recall, okay, I'm not sure Dr. Ann's year. We do have Yahoo Messenger, if you can
Okay.
recall. Okay, during the
ICQ.
Yahoo. Okay, you are the
Alamak.
ICQ generation.
Hello.
Okay, during the Yahoo Messenger, we have that. Remember,
I
we
still
do have
remember
that conversation.
Yeah, the Yahoo conversation.
That is 1995 way back. Okay.
But even though, let's say, we have a Yahoo Messenger that time, the communication or the talking still within the human, among human.
Yes.
So that is my perspective that you would like to see. Because when does it start that we already talking to a machine rather than to human?
Okay.
Because a Yahoo Messenger, I remember that
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
my Yahoo Messenger, I talk to that guy, still a human is there. And I
Yes.
can see the face and every single thing.
Yes.
So still, the connection is still human to human.
Yes.
And when does it really started that become human to machine in
Okay.
e-counseling?
Okay. In counseling perspective itself, okay, when we talk about online counseling, okay, towards 2022, something like that, 2020, 2022, 2023, they come up with the idea of AI and they projected, okay, AI will be run by the machine. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The word is using chat box.
Okay.
Or they call virtual therapists. Okay. But once we go 2023, 2024, 2025, we now see no, it cannot be done. The therapeutic relationship is not there. So AI machine is only to assist us
All right.
for the counselor.
So I before I go to Dr. N, because I was quite happy to hear that the transaction between the human to human, human to machine, at the end of the day, Dr. Zaida told us that it's not really the human touching take place.
Yep.
So in a Malaysian context, Perkama or the
Board of
counsellor
counsellor,
still
yeah.
using that kind of AI to address the counselling session,
Yep.
still put as a human.
Yeah. Okay. So we tried. Okay.
But still that's not really success.
Yeah.
But it can just be an assistant to the counsellor in helping, organizing and addressing certain issue.
Yes, that chatbots and also virtual therapies is only to help us during intake interview.
All right.
The first part.
Yeah.
So-
the first part.
So
the first part of
the
counseling
first,
process.
okay. But I will come later on
Yeah,
to
and
you
then
regarding on the
we will
issue.
discuss on how we blend AI later in our
yes,
service.
Yes. So let's hear from Dr. N. I would like to talk on this ethic and AI or IoT, because currently, when you talk about the AI, they start to assess, diagnose, or doing the intervention using the AI. So sometimes it violates the issue of the ethical process, because we really need to have the human consent to diagnose us, or we start to normalize machine is not the human, so we don't need to have ethic to assess us, and we allow AI to access, diagnose, and do the intervention. So how this ethic part play the role in the AI psychology or in education per se?
Okay, so thanks, Prof, for asking that questions, because I think when we're looking at the ethical aspects, we all as clinicians, either we're counselors or we're clinical psychologists, we are bounded by these ethical principles of, do no harm, justice, autonomy, and all of those things, yeah? And if we look at AI, does it actually hold autonomy or not to actually conduct all of this, and who gives that authority for AI to actually administer all of this stuff? So for me, in our clinical psychology perspective, we go through rigorous training of 2 years to actually, conceptualize, formulate, and then come up with a proper assessment, to come up with provisional diagnosis, thus intervention, treatment and management. So if we throw all of this into, let's say, ChatGPT or AI, whatever it is, right? And it will come up with all of those things, nearly perfect. But does it actually process this information as a person, right? So therefore, there's also that margin of error that they only process information based on what we give them, right? And then based on whatever the algorithm that they get from the internet, and they come up with their conceptualization and so-called provisional diagnosis. Most probably it's 99% accurate, but it does not answer the fact that these are just based on data. Okay, it can guide, but it's not going to be enough to actually provide proper interventions and recommendations for this individual, which is we all are different. Okay, diagnosis might be the same, but the way we manage and we provide interventions are very customized, and that's something that AI may not be able to actually produce. So hence, with this no regulations on whether ethics actually apply, that means we're free to do whatever you want, and there's no regulation. So if something happens, if someone follows the so-called diagnosis of an AI, and then this person end up being in a worse condition, okay, then who's going to take responsibility?
That is the big question that really in my mind, talking on who will take the responsibility. But at the same time, I see the young generation, Gen Z or Alpha, they will start to normalize that AI will be their so-called the soul or the best friend or the best counselor, So they will say that who care about the ethics? So because the AI will really helping me, helping us, and we stay sleep, eat with the AI. For example, even we want to go for the food, we just click one thing and everything's there. So I will see that the young generation today, they will start to normalize and they will try to ignore the ethic part. What is your view on that? Because you must remember, of course, we're talking about our age. Maybe I was older than you, but still we were still say that we still uphold or stand the ethics because we need to have a human consent because this is something that we deal on live and something bad thing can happen. But the young generation may not look from that perspective.
True.
They will normalize that AI is everything. Why I need a human being to help me? So how do you see that issue?
Oh, it's a tough one because when you talk about Gen Z, you talk about Gen Alpha. These are like our kids, right?
Yeah,
My kids,
yeah.
right?
Agree.
And I think we always come back to our nature, where being human is being a very socialized animal, right? But when we talk about replacing humans with something virtual, I mean, I've seen it happening online, right? Well, someone actually married an AI husband, which is really weird. But nevertheless, it's more on having that companionship of someone who can having these back and forth conversations, but it lacks other part of being human, like having the warmth of a human touch, feeling the hugs. I can touch you. So sorry, I touch you first. All of those things that makes you feel that sense of
Beloved,
love. Loving someone and being loved. And this is part of us having emotions, right? So when you detach yourself from that sort of thing, so what differs you from an AI or a machine? This is, I think, it goes back to the ethics that, at one point that where we are so detached with everybody else that we rely on this sort of, part where it keeps us alive. Then the big question is, what makes us human? If we are engaged in this sort of things, then it doesn't change the fact that, we are no different than a machine if we are detaching ourselves, and that's what makes us special. So if the children nowadays are already detaching, something is not right there. And as parents, I think we need to start engaging them a little bit more, maybe because they are left by themselves most of the time, right? Because the parents are too busy working, so I'm left alone. I need
someone to assist me.
Yeah, I need someone to talk to. I need to feel that someone's there to care about me. To be honest, AI can be whoever you want to be. Your perfect boyfriend, your perfect girlfriend, your perfect parents, whoever it is, they can emulate that, and you will fulfill the need. But does it mean that you fulfill all those needs, right? And this is something I think in our counseling we talk about those 5 needs, right? The needs of belonging, power, control, all those things that think about it, whether or not you might fulfill one need, but what makes you human, you fulfill all the other needs as well.
Yeah, that's what we call therapeutic relationship between the counselor and client that cannot be replaced by virtual therapists. Definitely.
But I do agree with that kind of term, you see, therapeutic relationship or connection or bonding or whatever you name it. I don't mind. But my questions, when I look at the young generations, they really engage with AI. Everything is about AI to them. So how, as an e-counselor expert, you want to bring back the human connection, rather than the machine connection there. Dr. Zaida.
Okay, first of all, we have to follow our board of counselor. There are specific rules, for the counselor if they want to use technology in their counseling services. It is in section A, the subsection of number 12. It displayed
Clearly
very
there.
detailed.
They're very detailed and clear. Okay.
Clearly and very detailed.
Section, can you please repeat the section so that everybody
Section
can...
A, subsection 12.
Subsection 12. A, subsection 12. Please, everybody, this is something that the counselor or e-counselor need to remember, because there is something that the guideline clearly stated there. And could please elaborate?
The
Thank you.
basic one is we have to inform our client on the risk.
Okay, correct.
Okay, and the limitation. It is not stated that we have to tell them the benefit, but it is mandatory for us to tell on the risk and limitation. Okay, that is under ethics
Yeah.
bound, and it since it is developed and designed by our board of counsellors way back in 2013, with vast changes of technology, we go together with APA Code of Conduct.
Oh,
That's another American Psychologists Association, APA Code of Conduct, where special section, that is section G, section G, that is on media, social media, and also technology in servicing counselling. One of it where we are talking about the latest generation. They don't use Facebook no longer. Okay, when I told my daughter, my son to look at the Facebook, they laugh at me. Old people.
Okay. No, old generation.
Old people. They say the word old
school
people.
talk.
Okay. So, for example, the basic one that we can understand, under Instagram, or if we have one account, under the name of Facebook Zaida No, I cannot be friend with my client. I cannot following. That's the word now, right?
Yeah.
I cannot follow. My client. And we highly recommend not to follow us. If it is under the name of Zaida. But if it is under the name Dr. Zaida the counsellor, they can be friend with us, but we can't follow them. And this Dr. Zaida the counsellor with Zaida, they cannot friend also. That is the basic one. The guideline given by the APA Code of Conduct, which is not yet included in our Code of Ethics in Malaysia. And now Lembaga is looking forward, to come up with another section, technology and AI, and the guideline as well, and ethics part.
So, are you telling us that the machine or the AI will not... The guideline is there.
Yep.
What I mean is the guideline is there,
Yes.
very clearly spell it out, very clear, very standing on the guideline. But I always see, that the people outside there, the young generation, I always put the young generation, they will never look that as important, because the awareness of the ethics, I'm not sure whether all the counselors, all the psychologists, all the therapists know about this rule or regulation. That's where sometimes if the counselor does not really know the ethics part and the principle that born within the things, how will the audience, how will be the client, how will be the society know on that? How do you want to address this thing? Because I say that, to me, I try to look on the young generation, who care about your principle? As long the machine help me. Of course, I would say that I agree with you. The young say, I don't want to, the Facebook is only outdated. But my another friend that can replicate my mom, my counselor, is better than looking at your standing principle.
In counselling area, we are very thankful with COVID-19.
Okay, thank you.
This is where when we are struggling doing online session, we are struggling, and then we know there's a code of ethics that highlight on this using of technology, the usage of technology. First, the very basic one, once we are with COVID-19, where the worry is we are dealing with genuine client. That is the first one. And the second one, are they in what mental state? So this is where, okay, another component coming in on screening part. Okay, that's our client, okay, our user, okay, and the user. So maybe they are not aware, okay, but us, the counselor, the provider, we have to take care this screening part as well. So we send them PHQ 9, we send them PHQ 2 minimum, okay, and then we can see if there any suicide ideation, suicide intention, okay, with mental illness, definitely they are not fit, okay, to be engaged, okay, in online counselling, AI counselling, or whatever it is called. So go back to the basic. Okay, we entertain them on the very first session and then guide them to come and get, okay, face-to-face session.
Okay, young generation outside there, so you must remember that there are things that you can follow your counselor or your personal account that you need to see, because that also resemble the ethics of e-counseling part. Okay, let's move on another perspective, Dr. Ann. We are all educators,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we are educators, we are teachers, we are lecturers. I would say that the most important thing now, student. I like to see the student point of view. The student will utilize, maximize all the AI, to complete all the tasks given,
Yep.
all the assignment given. Even you ask me about the thesis, AI will develop you a good thesis.
Okay.
During our time, during my time now, there is always people say about the ghost writer. That is in my time now. You are doing your postgraduate, but another person is doing your thesis or your research or whatever. That is called
Yeah.
ghost writer.
Yeah.
But now we don't look at the ghost writer anymore. The student is able to complete all the tasks given by the lecturers, by the teachers. How you want to evaluate? How you want to really screen that is an authentic work, or just want to look at the piece of paper? If you look at the piece of paper, it's excellent, it's good. So how you want to put the grading there? Are you going to look at the end product or the last output or what? Because I need to know from your perspective, because I'm just trying to bring the issue from the student. In my class, I said, please make use all the AI that you know.
Yep.
But I don't see that as punishing them. I said, please utilize.
Yep.
But
Intellect
in
is
your
the word.
view, are you going to accept the output? Because the output can be super excellent, done by the AI. So how you want to do the grading and something like that? Most probably, Dr. Ann?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely something that we face, every single day, right? And I'm with you in terms of, yeah, you got the tools, use it. Just like we use other tools to help us, like for example, our citation manager. All of those things are there, but at the end of the day, you still need to put the work and effort, right? Because it has to has your style. It has to has your input. It has to have that part of you that's authentic. Your writing has to be authentic, because if you look at one paper from one student, the other paper from another student sounds the same. I mean, content-wise, pretty good. I would give like 90%. But knowing the fact that these students will not be able to write this, and this student definitely not going to be able to write this, then you know for a fact that this is not authentic. Therefore, when we are asking our students to actually do assignments, we are in that process of teaching them how to use AI responsibly. So we encourage them to use it appropriately. I think this is also ethics as well, yeah? So this is something that we also need to be with them in the get-go. Like before we start there doing assignments, yes, you can use this, you can use this, you can use this. But I know for a fact that your product has to be reflective of your effort as well. I think this is where we need to be a bit more subjective when we are marking the assignments. Because we know this student can't even speak in one sentence in English, right? But then, wow, writing
The
assignment,
output
wow,
is so
fantastic. This is like from a novel. I like it. But I know for a fact I'm not gonna be given like 100% marks, because I know this is not their 100% work. So I can appreciate your hard work and putting some of your input in it, and then to make it nicer, to the wordings and whatnot, that is fine. But 90% of the content is from you. The rest is just beautifying the language. That is fine. And to be honest, I'm still a student. Yes, for sure. I'm still a student. So I know how to use it. But then again, I still look at the content. I still write it within my own thoughts, my own processes. And I know everyone has their own writing styles. That's you. And I think in counseling, Prof, we do a lot of reflective writing.
Yeah.
And I said,
Cannot be done
yeah,
by
you
AI.
can't dump your CV into ChatGPT and tell it, okay, reflect on my life based on my CV. It will come out beautifully, but that's not you. You know for a fact that's not you. That authenticness, that genuineness is not there. So we can get our students to use AI, no issue, but use it appropriately, use it responsibly, and put your effort into it, and that's what makes it you. Take ownership, not AI take ownership of your assignments, right?
Well,
That's my take on it.
thank you so much, Dr. Ed. I have to agree with you because if you look at the end product, it's very nice, very excellent. You can give A++ for the output. But the process of getting the information to
Yeah.
me and to Dr. I agree to you that the process of getting the information is there. But the big question that I would like to throw here is, where does this critical thinking take place? Because I see that the student may not be so critical in analyzing the whole task, assignment, or the research project or the thesis. It's just a writing. But the issue here, how you want to develop the young generation using the AI, but at the same time, we have the critical thinking, innovation, and so-called productive in their way, and really resemble that is my work, even though I'm using the AI. Dr. Zaida, would you like to respond on that?
Okay, usually, okay, how I play with that is actually I divide the assignments. Okay, especially in counseling, they have lots of lab time. Okay, so and then during the practice, and then they come up with the report. Okay, and then after the report, they have to do the reflection, and then they will have to share with the peer and discuss on the possible treatment plan on that specific client that they entertain. Okay, so I staggered them. Okay, maybe the first 10% is on the recording of the session. Okay, so the reflection part, usually I will put more than 10% marks on that. Okay, because reflection definitely cannot be done. Okay, it is more introspective of their self, okay, to see where did they do wrong during the session, how actually they really can help the client using which techniques, okay, and how to apply which theory. Okay, the reflection part, usually I will give greater marks compared to the others. Okay, that is how I play with it. And then I thought definitely our course outline also. Okay, our course outline also mentioned where we have that certain component on cognitive, certain component on affective, on certain component on psychomotor, right? Okay, that is also how I played out. Okay, for them not to rely too much on the internet, not just AI, not to rely too much on the internet. That is how I play it out. But when we're talking about if a scholar, they want to produce an article, for example, okay, for the postgraduate student, okay, it is mandatory for them to come up with articles, right? Okay, the first one maybe do on the conceptual paper. Okay, yeah, that conceptual paper, maybe, okay, they use lots of internet and also maybe AI. But when they deliver the second paper where there's findings in it, okay, the AI maybe be generated in the discussion part, maybe, or the implication part. Okay, so for the scholars, I see, yeah, they can play with AI. They can even use internet. We have lots of that in the internet. Okay, but it is how actually we control and we measure. Okay, our end product, our student, how we assess.
But Dr. Zaida, even though you say about the reflection during the counseling session, AI will do for you that.
They can do, but
I mean,
we know it is fake.
What I mean, that's why I try to see from the student view. You just give me any topic, any title, any reflective, AI will do for you. So you see, that's where at the end of the day, how you would like to see the whole process and what kind of future counseling or counselor or psychologist or educator that you will be predicted, what kind, because we are no longer, to me, you ask me, we should not no longer based on people.
Right.
It should be more than people. If it's us about the people, writing a paper, even a book, even a novel. I did a very simple case with my student recently, I said, everyone, please create a poem, using the AI. It's marvelous. The work was so good. You talk about reflective is a piece of cake to the student. So how do you want to maintain the quality of the counselor in future if this is keep on ongoing? Because you will be losing to the student. Student know better trick than you as an educator. Dr. Zaida.
Okay. For me, we will produce greater counselor. For me, okay, from my perspective, we will produce greater counselor, greater students actually. Okay, if we, in our age, we have to calculate the statistic part, remember?
I remember
Okay.
that. Manually and using the...
Okay, key in all the data, if you can recall that one. They don't have to do, they have special apps for that. Okay, and but that is we thought that the process is important. For them, the process is not that important.
Yes.
The finding is more important for them. Okay, so with that, I think they will this AI, this internet era, we will produce greater students actually. Okay, for me, okay, that is my personal view.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zaida. Let's move on a little bit futuristic, because we will try to predict the future. Dr. N, how do you see mental health in future based on AI? Meaning that will we allow at the first stage, screening, for example, or the screening process, diagnosis process, or even intervention a little bit, will you really say that the AI can really predict any abnormality behavior, for example, like anxiety, depression, How do you see the AI and prediction of the mental health issue? Will it something that really supporting the clinical psychologist or therapy, or is just a tool that was supposed to be done by human? And at the end of the day, if let's say a client using the AI software and he or she can diagnose herself with high anxiety, and he look at the procedure and out of sudden recover from anxiety or the stress level. So what is the role? What is the role as you as an academician, as a therapist, CP, see this issue, the mental health support in AI?
I think definitely this is a big challenge, definitely, because AI is ever growing, and every day it plays around with algorithms, and it keeps on building the database every single day. And for every information, every new ways, or every new technology, or every new therapy that are being used, they are being put into the algorithms. And in medicine, I'll take in medicine, which is a little bit more advanced, they have a huge database of all the different types of very rare diseases with the different symptoms, which they can actually pin down to make the diagnosis a little bit more confined as opposed to going broad. Remember, when we do diagnosis, we funnel it from the big
very narrow,
and we narrow it down. So what it does, it helps for example, it's a matter of life and death situation, how to rule out other things. You know, if we give the wrong medication, this client, patient might die.
Yeah.
So this algorithm help us to funnel it down to, you know, lesser diagnosed provisional or lesser differential, then we can be a little bit more specific. We don't waste time, right? It helps us in that sense to make the best clinical judgment, because at the end of the day we come back down to our clinical judgment. That's what we are trained for.
Yep,
We've
agree.
seen different clients, different patients, but it is a tool. Again, it is a tool to help us funnel down, to help make that decision, clinical decision that's best for our client. Remember, do no harm. That's the best thing, right? It can help, it can assist. But future-wise, I can't deny it's definitely going to be integrated in our life. Everything we go, everywhere we see is, you know, IoT is there. Social media, AI is everywhere. Even you don't even need to advertise using a person. You have an AI avatar.
To advertise,
yeah, to promote all your stuff. Why you want to pay 10,000, 20,000, right, for people to market your products? You have AI to do it. It's, yes, business-wise, it is cost-effective, but quality-wise, is it the right decision to do so? Hence, when Prof, you said like, oh, at the screening part, like what the Prof was saying before, yes, screening part to gather information, yes, but to actually run the session, no.
Okay, thank you. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Ann, regarding on the future mental health issue, I would like to recap a little bit, you know, because I see that there is a lot of fakes, you know, the fake that take place. So it can go under the deep fake, you know.
Yes.
So when we talk about the deep fake, people are just faking our voice, our face.
Yeah.
Everything can be fake. So how do you like to see this issue to address on the therapist part or the clinical part? Because I see that the deep fake something that really harmful for the society. Because society may not understand that it's just not a real thing, it's a fake thing, and the society have tendency to believe it.
Yeah.
And it will put the society in harm rather than, you know, putting better, but it will go for the worse.
Yeah.
So could you please just respond a little bit how you like to handle the issue of deep fake in AI? Because currently people be scammed, a lot of money gone, you know, so many things take place, and I don't see any constructive by the authority to look and try to make the society aware or penalize the issue of deep fake.
Ooh, deep fake in counseling.
Or in therapy, in the
In
clinical part.
therapy,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
They put your face as the therapist, right? And then advertise it as, you know, Prof. Zahari,
Yeah.
all those things. But that's
All the
not actually
qualification.
not you behind
Yeah.
behind the other screen, yeah. So I think this is where we come in terms of, let's say, create awareness, advocacy, and then get people to be a bit more aware in terms of who are these people in terms of their qualifications. Best is to go see face to face, right?
Okay.
Physical, yeah. But if those people who are not able to, but they still want to get the services, yes, you can go online. In counseling is there, but when there's deep fake, that's a little bit tough though, because it's really hard to determine whether or not the person you're talking to is genuinely the person, or is that deep fake someone else. They just superimpose your face on it, and this is something that people need to do a lot of due diligence, do their research, look at the company, look at the people, look at the therapist. I mean, it has to start from the consumer, unfortunately. If, let's say, government are not regulating this, they're not able to monitor this, because there's going to be like, mental health business is a booming business.
Yes,
Everybody
agree.
wants to make money, right? By all means possible. And most of this, like you mentioned, Prof, scammers and whatnot, they're 10 steps ahead. We're just trying to figure out how to get rid of these deep fakes. They go beyond deep
Yes.
fakes. They go beyond editing. So we just have to, like again, we have to create that awareness about who are the therapists, licensed
Behind it.
counselor here in Malaysia, who are the known people, and where they can go to LKM to find out who are the registered counselors out there, Malaysian Society of Clinical Psychologists. These are the two that we can actually have whole integrity, MAHPC, all of those things. It needs to start from them to make it visible who are the counselors here in Malaysia. And if you are going for an online counseling, who are the people behind the online counseling? Is this a legit thing or not? I think, I mean, at this moment in time, because there's no regulations, we just have to start imposing on ourselves. That's the best thing that I can see we can do. And then from our part is to, advocate that for our clients as well, to create that awareness that this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree to that point of view. But Dr. Zaida, you've been counselor for so many years. You are very senior in counseling session. We have to admit that our society really expose and believe, that trusting on deep fake is more than the authentic counselor. So how do you see that point of view? Because in general, you ask me, maybe they have a very beautiful face of me. I don't know. Something that they create avatar and better voice than me and become very convincing, So people attract that. But that is a fake. So as a senior counselor, how do you see that, and how really you can really tell everyone, hey, look here, it's a scammer, it's a deep fake, it's not real, and you may end it in the lost your money or so many things. You may end it commit suicide or this kind of abnormal activities. So how do you see that point of view?
Okay. People disguising as me. I don't have to use AI. People can disguise as me as well.
But the issue is, people, I can, if I was the IT expert, I can just take your face, and reduplicate, put in a good avatar, and I can even know how your voice, maybe I can tune your voice to be more lovely, and actually it's a fake. So how you would like to combat, because this is something that to me, is very harmful to the society because it lead to the worst scenario than we expected. So, I mean, as a counselor, how you see that? You ask me to fit your voice in a second, I can ask all my students to do that, It's not a big issue. It's not a big issue at all. Okay, please.
Okay. With that question, I would like to thank our Ministry of Education by providing counselors at school. Okay. Where 90% of the students in school, they have met a counselor. They even have maybe, and go through counseling session. So they can know what is the real counseling session. Okay. So when they go to maybe a fake page, and they can see if the person is not a counselor. If a person is not a counselor.
But I trust the avatar
but
more.
I really trust the person, the on the screen. They know, they definitely can know that the process is not the same like what they experience in school. The exploration may be a bit not that deep. And even they can solve the client's problem in maybe one session. So, again, thank you to Ministry of Education. Thank you also for the counselors in school. They have provided their an experience of having a counseling session. So how actually to prevent that one? Again, scammers, they are 10 steps ahead. If the counselor out there is genuinely want to promote themselves, want to promote the service, then people can sense actually, the genuinity, the sincereness, even though through online. AI is considered an apps, a tools. In social interaction, okay, there are lots of jobs that cannot be replaced by AI. Okay, maybe car workshop to install the car, the Tesla. Okay, we heard Tesla is 99.9% using AIoT. Okay, but okay, the services under mental illness, okay, the psychiatrists, the counselors, okay, the what else? Okay, the teachers, the nurse, okay, those are the jobs that cannot be replaced by AI because AI is only a tool.
Okay, we just like to a little bit go in depth of this because you talk about Tesla, about the new AI. You know. So, well, in future, we are going to. I mean, the young generation will accept to have a robot as their spouse because it's already by mean, you know. For example, like there's a one public figure have his robot as a spouse better than the human being, and will it become normal in our society? So we don't really need human because the machine is there to help me better than the human. For example, if I have a girlfriend who are very moody, you know, so many things, you know, I rather say that I go for the robotic spouse who really does understand me better than a human who cannot understand me because everything can be done by the robotics. Will that be normalized in future? Because it's a trendy now that people go by robotic to have the spouse, and the robotic can just do 13 hours non-stop, 1 hour charge back and back to normal. As human, we need to sleep at least 4, 5, 6 hours per day, and we have limited on that. So how do you respond on this normalizing of people engage with the machine or the robot as the spouse?
As a spouse.
As a
the
spouse.
Yes.
Specifically.
I'm just making example because I was triggered by Dr. Zaida saying Tesla because Elon Musk have his spouse and the spouse was robot and do every single thing like a human being do and better than human according to Elon Musk. So it's just because I just try to bring, I'm not advertising Tesla. No, I sometimes hate Elon Musk so much, but still again, the normalizing is there.
We really love, for the woman, we really love robots.
Yeah.
Thank you for the washing machine. Okay. Thank you. No, we have that one, the crawling one. The one that do the
robot vacuum.
I really love them.
But that will never replace the engagement with a human. Okay. I want to see the
But
how.
as spouse,
Because today the trend I see the young generation would like to have robot as a spouse because they believe that the robot spouse is better than human, and we start to normalize the whole scenario.
Okay. Kind of like just to kind of address that. When you mentioned Elon Musk, that he. So I haven't read this, so I don't know, right?
I read that theory.
Okay. So everybody has their own expectation. What is a spouse? What is a partner? Okay, because he wants something or someone to fulfill his every needs, right? Because we all individual, very, very different. We are not the same person. Hence why whenever we deal with couples therapy, we're trying to bring two people living together without any arguments, without any conflicts, right? So to him, it may seem like, oh, the robot doesn't argue with me, agrees with me with everything, but he might have his own preferences, right? So some people have their so-called perfect husband, perfect wife, but we know for a fact there's no such thing as a perfect person. But that's what makes us human. So if he has a spouse, a partner who is a robot that's 100% error-free, then that is his preference, right? But it may be an advantage to one thing, but there might be something else. Okay, right now he's probably in his honeymoon stage, I don't know, right? But looking at Elon Musk as well, I mean, I don't know if sometimes I question whether he's actually human as well.
Alright. Okay, Dr. and Dr. Zaida, I think I can really prolong the conversation because it's very. You asked me this topic on human meet machine exploring AI is a lot thing to debate, to argue, to question. You know, so I still believe that at the end of the day, we need to have the human touching because only the human touching can open someone's heart.
Yes.
So again, the machine or the AI is just an assistant because we are not perfect, like Dr. N said just now. So before we end the podcast today, I'm very happy for the discussion that we take place. It's very enjoying to have both of you in this podcast. I really hope to bring again you next round to talk more details on the AIs and education. Well, actually, in my mind, there's a lot of things to ask you, because you're the expert on that issue. But still, to conclude, to recap, as I mentioned just now, I will try to pass to Dr. Zaida. I would like you to just give 1 minute take-home message to everyone who listening to this podcast. What is the one take-home message that you want to give to everyone? Please.
Okay, thank you. Embrace AI. Okay. Do it. Okay. Apply it ethically. Okay. Understand the manual of the AI and then please, we are going to live with AI longer than maybe longer than ourselves. Okay, so for the counselors or counselor to be out there, okay, be prepared of these changes. The technology is rapidly changing. We only discuss AI, maybe tomorrow we have another issue to discuss. Okay, always be prepared of these changes. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zaida, for a lovely take-home message from you. Dr. N, please.
Okay, I think for me the take-home message is that we also need to, as an educator and as a counselor, we need to keep updating ourselves as well, because like what Dr. Zaida said, we need to embrace it. Therefore, we also need to incorporate it into our daily life as well. But it is still a tool, it is still something to assist us. The clinical decisions is actually coming from us. Even with all this AI happening, someone is sitting behind there. There's a person monitoring the quality of the algorithm there. There's still human behind it. We cannot not have human behind it. And at the same time, I think it's also important to mention that this is what sets us humans apart from machines, because of humans' rights convention. These are all that we apply in our daily life, and they are there. AI will be there, robots future will be there, but to what extent they're just mimicking or trying to be like us.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. N. So before we come to the end of this today podcast, on behalf of UCSI University, I would like to thank you both of the panel. I think it's a very great discussion that we have. And to recap the whole topic that we discussed, we human create, develop AI.
Yeah.
We should be able to handle, embrace AI, so that for future, for better generation, we need to come up with a very authentic scholar, not the scholar who manipulate AI for their self-interest. That is for me. Again, I would like to thank you both of the panel and all the crew members. Thank you so much, everything. Thank you, and till we meet again. Happy Ramadan Kareem. May this Ramadan the best ever for us. Thank you so much.